Hey teletizens, back with me again, Anji Gautama Putrada. This is our course called Operating Systems, and this is the first meeting about OS overview. We have reached video 3. In video 3, we will discuss about polling vs interrupt. Is is a process interaction between the CPU and memory. CPU is executing memory. CPU and memory. So all it does is execute what's in the memory. Now, while it's doing that, it needs to know when an I/O, for example, a mouse or a keyboard, sends something inside. For example, we have a keyboard and the keyboard presses A, meaning we want to read the A here. Now, so the CPU needs to listen. Here it has ears. This is an ear to listen to if there is something in the I/O. How does it do that? There are two ways to listen. First is polling, and the second way is interrupt. What is the difference? I'll explain now. So, like I said, there are two ways. The first one is polling here, and the second one is interrupt. Calling and interrupt is two very uh, different ways. Polling, like the name, is like asking. It's like making poll, like asking. So, for example, if a CPU is a person, and we can imagine, for example, the I/O is your WhatsApp messenger. We have to imagine, for example, this WhatsApp is silent. Just there's no sound. How does the user know if there is a call or something? It checks periodically. Periodically checks. This is called polling. So polling is periodically checking if there is an input, output or not. And interrupt is the opposite way. So there's a person and there's WhatsApp, and now the WhatsApp has a ringtone, so it's not silent. What happens if the WhatsApp has a ringtone? It can produce sound. If it can produce sound, the user doesn't have to check regularly. The WhatsApp will tell the user when there is uh, input or an output. So there is a notification. So those are the difference between polling and interrupt. It is said that interrupt is faster than polling because uh, we don't need to check regularly. But I think both of them uh, has their advantage. So now we want to discuss more deeply about interrupt. How does the interrupt work? For example, we have a computer and we have a keyboard, and we want to check the keyboard if there is a button pressed or not. If, for example, we want to press A, when we press A, then it sends an interrupt. So the interrupt is not the A sent to the computer, it's only a notification. So first, for example, the CPU is busy working something else, and then we press A. It means that there is a notification. When there is a notification, the main process halts or stops, and then it goes to the interrupt process. So there is an interrupt process. For example, the interrupt process is sending the A to the CPU. This interrupt process is called interrupt handler, or People sometimes call it ISR, interrupt service routine. So interrupt handler or interrupt service routine. Both are the same things. So that is the end of video 3. In this video, you have understood what is interrupt and what is polling. In the next, we will answer the definition of operating systems itself. Thank you for your attention. I will meet you in the next video.